Hey everybody. About a month ago, I made a video regarding your water slide scraps. And this was an end result of that video. And I just want to show you what you can expect. This was all enhanced with color shift paints. And it occurred to me after the video had come out, and I'm here to tell you it was my first video, so it was not that great. And I thought that I had explained things well enough, but the questions that I'm getting lead me to believe that you need a little more information. So that's what I intend to do today, is I want to show you what the practical application is for enhancing what you've printed, and the fact that you can actually, if you can draw something, you can paint it onto your water slide paper. So today, that's what we're going to do, is I'm going to take away some of the myths, I hope, and I hope I answer some of those extra questions. Now, I've pulled a piece that I had printed some time ago, and I sprayed it. As you can see, it's shiny. That's got a gloss clear on it. I'll show you one that doesn't have the gloss on it. And you can see there's no shine. But this one has been sprayed. And I want to show you what happens when I enhance this, and I'm gonna try to, there we go. There, I just wanted to zoom you in a little bit. What I'm going to be using is some color shift paints, and as you get to know me, you will understand that I love color shift for certain things. And I'm going to use these three colors because we have that purplish mauve, not mauve. Mauve is an old color. It's like fuchsia. Is that the color? I don't know. It's a purplish. And then there's a bluish in here that this I think would look good on. And then we have the teal. So I'm going to concentrate on those pieces. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to use this little dinky paintbrush. I don't know if you can see it. Where are we? There we are. Okay, I have this little paintbrush that looks like it's been through a war, and that's because I have put it through its paces. It was a full brush head on here, and I trimmed part of it because I wanted something that was thin enough to be able to handle certain things that I do, to get fine lines and whatnot. So I'm going to start out here on the purple, and I hope that I keep this in frame. I'm going to move this because I'm not going to use that just yet. And I'm going to move my paper towel underneath my cup of water because that's where I'll rinse my brush. Okay, let's see. Are we still in frame? We are. I'm going to work on this one. So let's get started. And we're going to start with the purple. There's a little bit of purple up here, and I think I may just, and all I'm going to do is highlights, but I think I'm going to start up here and move my way in. That way I don't get my hand oils all over everything on the other picture and down on here. And you might see little bits of paint come off of my paintbrush up here, paint chips, because it's been well loved. That's what we're going to call it. And I guess I should show you this. I'm dipping it in the cap but then I'm taking off the excess and putting it on my palette. So, if I'm in the right position here, I'm really not. Okay, I'm going to hold my hand up. I steady my hand, and I am just laying down a small amount, very thin line. All we're doing at this point is highlighting. And off camera, I'm just taking off some of that paint that I put on there. Now you can see the different shades of the purples here. So what I want to do is, these are darker in here. I want to go around where the lighter ones are. So I'm just gonna give that a slight tint there. And I don't think it was enough. So I'm going to go a little bit more. And you can lay in as much as you want or as little as you want. I just want slight highlights. And so that's what I'm doing. And it doesn't have to be precise. You don't have to worry, oh, I went inside the line or I went outside the line. This is a highlight. And that's what I wanted to show you, is that you can enhance what you already have as far as the colors go. Now, I did go a little out there, but I'm gonna pick it up and I'm going to pull it back in like that. And if you wanted to do the darker ones, you certainly could. I'm only going to do half of these little light colored ones. When you see this shine in, I'm not in position here, folks. That makes things a little more difficult for me to do, but I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, oh, when you see it shining in the light, you're definitely going to recognize it. Now, I can see it as I'm painting it. Even if you can't see it yet, you will. And I am going directly from the cap right now to the flower. Okay, where else do I want some highlight? And like I said, you can do as much or as little as you want. But I just wanted to show you some practical application. When I did my first video on water slide hacks, or water slide scraps, hacks, tips and tricks, is that video that I had mentioned earlier. When I did that, I thought, well, I'm explaining it well enough. I always assume that people have been doing the water slides for a long time now, because I've been doing them for quite a while. And I have to apologize. I find myself doing that a lot, just assuming that people know, because it seems like everybody does know, but they don't. And that's my bad. All right, I'm gonna lift this up and show you where there was no shimmer or shift in color. You can now see it. Now, I'm not sure that this little one doesn't seem to be showing up so great on the ends here, but it's a very close match in color, whereas this is just a little bit off. And you can see I only did a few few of the petals. But if you wanted to shade them in, you could do that as well. And it doesn't take hardly any paint to do that. But the effects that it gives you on a tumbler is unbelievable. Well, you saw the skull that I had done, and all I did was highlight the flowers. And it really changed everything about that tumbler. I'm going to do this here and a little bit there. And then you see that shift. It really is spectacular. I love it. I think I want to put a little bit up here too, just to enhance those little spriggets or whatever they are. And I think I'm going to have to pull a little more of a point on my gnarly little brush here. But I think this is going to enhance this little bit right here. There. Just enough to give it a little bit of a glimmer. And it doesn't hurt your water slide at all. In fact, when you're done and your paint has dried, you're going to spray this with your clear spray. I prefer to do gloss just because I feel like it makes it stronger. And you'll see that it's nice and strong when you put it on your tumbler. Okay, hopefully that is going to help enhance that a little bit more there. But see, I love the way that looks in that. I didn't do all of them. I just hit a few of them. Now I'm going to rinse my brush out because I'm going to switch over to the, you know what would have been pretty is to do the green as well. But the color shift green that I have, ooh, that is some green. I mean, Kermit the Frog green. I think it might be a little too bright. But one thing also to remember is that the color shift paints tend to be more like a gel than the thick acrylic. And I hope that translates as I'm telling you, because they really are not a full coverage type of they're not a full coverage type of paint. I mean, I've tried to use them in paint pours only to be pretty disappointed with them because they don't show up very well in a paint pour because I mix it with my Floetrol and whatnot. So I have to keep standing up because I did not give myself a marker as to where this needed to be, and I should have. I'll usually put a little marker on my work surface so that I know that I'm staying within a certain boundary. I have never seen anyone else do this, and it came to me that, you know, a lot of times we get images from Google Images or wherever we get our pictures that we use for our tumblers, our graphics, or whatever you want to call them. And they aren't necessarily the color that we want, or, you know, it might be the shape that we're looking for. It might be the actual image that we're looking for, but the color's not right. It doesn't go with our tumbler. Or maybe there's a cartoon coloring book type of image that we'd like, but geez, we just don't want it to look like a coloring book image. So, you know, we don't use them. It would look ridiculous and too plain. So this is a great way to be able to add color to an image and make it match your tumbler color theme. And I don't know if you're seeing that yet, but I will pick it up and flash you with it. I know it may seem like all I ever use is the color shift. And that's not true, but that's what you see. I like it because of its versatility. And the fact that it just enhances everything. I can't. Now, I did fill in a little bit here, and I think I'm going to give this just a little zhuzh too, and a little bit right in here. And though you can't directly see it, you will as this image is moved around on its substrate, whatever you're putting it on. If you're putting it on a ceramic cup, or if you're putting it on a jar, or putting it on a tumbler, you definitely will see it, because just like this, you can see the purple and the blue. You're going to see that with, set that back over there. You're going to see that on any of these that you do with this. And let's see, we were going to do blue in here. I almost think, let me go and I've got a color that's similar to this. Okay, I'm back. I want to show you what that turquoise did for this. And depending on how it shines, depends on how you're going to, you know, the angle of it is going to show you. You can see down by that pink flower where I put a little tiny bit in the middle. And like I said, it's not a lot, but it really does make a difference. Okay, now I've got these two colors, and I feel like this one is going to be a better match to this. And even though we're looking for contrast, we're also trying to tie everything in. So I think that'll make up the difference. The green, I brought the green over for you to see. Holy moly, is that green. Yeah. I thought it would be just a little too flashy for this. Come on, you. All right. We're going to try this. If we don't like it, then no harm, no foul. We will switch it out with the other. This to me looks like a cottage rose. So on this one, I am going over the darker bands of color, because I don't want to eliminate the depth that we get, or the highlight we get from the lighter colors. And I'm squiggling that out there. And if I told you that I know exactly what color each one of these different bands make, I can't tell you the difference. I mean, I can see it, but I don't commit to memory what can be seen with the eye. But it looks to me as though this is going to shift to a lighter purple. So it'll be that fuchsia. That's what that is. is more like a fuchsia. So it'll shift to a bluish from the fuchsia. And as you can see, straight on, it doesn't take away the effect of the actual picture itself. Let's see here. Now, is that enough? I need just a little bit more, I think, over this way. Just enough to tie it together. And I think that is going to do that for that one. Now I hope it's translating. I'm sorry, I keep jumping up and down here, but I'm jumping up and down because this really is very exciting. Now we could take, why not? We're already here. We're hanging out. We're hopefully learning a little bit. Let's push our boundaries. And let's try this one on, I don't know what kind of flower that is, but it looks kind of like a tulip, but it's got all those little stamens in the middle, so I don't know what it is. But let's try this with that and maybe a little bit over here. It makes me wish I had some yellow. I do have gold metallics that I could use over here, but I don't want it to be overly done either. Although I do tend to go a little too far sometimes. And I probably am right now, but bear with me. I need to make this point because I don't ever want you to feel like, well, what did she just tell us and why do we care? I want you to care because, darn it, I care. I sat one Sunday morning and I thought, why in the world couldn't I do this? And I ran some tests. That whole day, I just ran tests. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? And you know what I found out? I really was not terribly limited. I will say that the alcohol inks to do this really don't work that well. And it doesn't make any sense to me because we do the clear spray over our alcohol inks before we epoxy. And it seemed to me that this should just be a no-brainer for the alcohol inks. And it was a no-go. Maybe you can figure out another way, but I just found that maybe I was a little too heavy-handed with my clear spray. Maybe. That is so sweet. And it really did bring that out, didn't it? Even though, and I know this one is the same color as this, but we're going to try this. We're going to see just how much of a difference it does make. My color shift paints. I've bought some at Walmart. I have bought some at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. So I kind of shop around, and I'm not opposed to ordering it from Amazon if I can't find what I'm looking for. So there, we have all different colors that we've used, and I think it looks, well, I think it looks amazing, and I hope I'm showing you how amazing it looks. But there you go. This, as opposed to just this. You see what a difference it makes? Now this, whoops, once it's dry, I will spray it with my gloss. Here it is, right here. I like this one to spray over the top, and I'll do about 3 coats of that because this has already been sprayed. The water slide itself is protected, plus what the water slide brings with it, you know, the whole makeup of the paper. And then that extra glaze on there, just, I'm telling you, it just sets it off. It's nice and thick. You don't have to worry about it ripping. It comes off like a dream. And I just want to show you, oh, you know what I didn't show you? I still have one other thing I wanted to include in that, and I'm going to bring that back over here so that I can show you. And this is where I'll use this. I use Dragonfly Glaze because it really does give a nice shimmer, but it doesn't add any color. So what I want to show you is how you can, I'm shaking it up too. This one didn't get shook up before. I want to show you, and I'm going to do it with my other little gnarly brush. This one doesn't have as thin a brush end on it, but I want to show you a different effect that you can make with the Dragonfly Glaze. And you can oops, well, that one just wanted to string right out, little snot. You can use, there's different kinds of Dragonfly Glaze. This one is 44381E. It's the Gold, Red, Violet Shift. And I guess basically, yeah, this is another color shift. But I'm going to go on the inside of these petals. And holy cow, when you see it, you're going to wonder what you were thinking. Not ever doing this before. Because this, I'm telling you, that you're only limited by your imagination. The other really cool thing about doing this is if you make a mistake and, you know, say you're in here and you put this on here and, you know, you look at it a couple of seconds and think, I don't really care for it. If you just barely dampen a Q-tip, you can roll that off of there. For the most part, you can roll it off. If it gets to the outer edge here, then go ahead and get it good and clean. But because you're only highlighting with it at this point, you can't mess it up. That's the point I want to make. You cannot mess this up. There. Okay. Now, oops, I see a little petal that I missed. Yep, that would be me messing that up. But is it really? Okay. And the Dragonfly Glaze is just that. It's a glaze. It's not a color. So if you want more of a shimmer for that, you can just put another layer on there. And it'll enhance what you've got. So you can, I'm telling you, this is just craziness. And here I go again with, remember I told you I can go a little too far and over the edge, but I'm just putting in small brush strokes here, and let's do a little bit of this Dragonfly Glaze here, because I think that's going to look pretty. There. And as I'm looking at this, this could use just a tiny bit down here. I'm not really laying it on. I'm barely hitting it with my brush. But there, you can see a bit of the shimmer there. It's wet still. Once it's dry, all you're going to see is just a little bit of glitter in there. And I know that you all like your glitter. Well, this is a way to put it on without having to worry about putting an adhesive on and then getting the glitter on there and having it stick to everything else. We all know what glitter is. We know what it does. And we know that we can find it years from now, wherever it landed. Oops, that top wasn't on. So, that all being said, and that piece being done, I think it looks really pretty. And that's going to be pretty on a tumbler, or on a jar, or on a cup, whatever you decide you want to put it on. And I know a lot of times many of us will print out extra because, well, if you mess up the first one, at least you've got another one to fall back on. So then we have these extra pieces that we aren't using. Well, as long as you're not spraying them too far ahead of time with your clear, whether it's matte or it's the glaze. I prefer the glaze, but because I think it makes it stronger. But as long as we're not spraying it too far ahead of time, we don't have to worry about it getting too old and cracking. So you can just keep your printed piece from your inkjet or your laser, whatever you're using. I know that you don't put a spray over the laser, so I don't really know how that would work. I don't think it hurts if you put it over it. You just don't have to. This, I'm just going to show you. This is my signature that I put on the bottoms of my tumblers. And I will do a few of these and just keep them on hand because sometimes I forget to, sign my name on the bottom of the tumbler. And I can grab one of those and do a quick coat on the bottom of that tumbler and I'm good to go. These I just wanted to show you. I don't use these, but I did print them off and I thought, well, I'm just going to try them. And here it is with the spray over the top with my signature. And you could make your own stickers for the bottom of your cups. Of course, this is water slide. Just put in there whatever, if you're going to sign your name or you're going to put your initials or whatever your logo is, if it's something that you can just write out or paint out. There's examples of that. Okay, now I want to show you that this works, so I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I have gone and sprayed this water slide that we enhanced, and I sprayed it a couple of times, only a couple of times, but I cut it off the other piece, but I haven't cut around it yet very much. And I'm not going to get really close. It's clear water slide, and we're not supposed to have to do that. So I'm just going to take off these edges here. Whoops, I think I just put my fingernail in it. I dried it really quick with the hair dryer, which I don't normally do because it really should be able to take its time, but I wanted to get this video done for you. I'm going to throw it in the water. But as it rocks back and forth in there, you can see those color shifts. Isn't that wicked awesome? And we're just going to be patient. The water's cooled down a little bit. I think clear water slide likes a little bit warmer water anyway. And I'm going to lay that down here with the cup that we already used. Now we have liftoff. And you see how that goes. Now, I'm just putting it on here just like I normally would. My printed water slide, and I'm doing it carefully. And then now we're looking at, Where's the light? The glue that's on there. It's not just wet, it's glue. So I'm going to wet my squeegee, and I'm going to lightly pull. And since I only did 2 coats on this, you know, I'm not going to guarantee that it won't rip, because I normally do 3. And I want to move that around so that it's sitting on there and not hanging off the edge of the cup. And now I'm just lightly squeegeeing to get this out, get all the water out of here as much as possible. I'm going to get some of that glue, and I'm going to go around the edges, because as we use our paper towel to chase out any residual bubbles or water, that will also help to glue the edges. And there we are. There we are. Okay, move this aside. I have a little bit of hangover here from it. But like I said, I'm not going to leave it on here. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes only. And now you can use, so you can use a dry paper towel to do this, or you can use a wet paper towel, a damp paper towel. It's whatever works for you. Whatever works best. But I'm going to definitely tell you, do 3 coats of the clear. First time I've ever done the 2 coats, but I was trying to hurry. And I just feel like it's a little more fragile than it needs to be. This one here was 3 coats, so I'm going to dampen my paper towel, because like I said, I don't want to rip it. But this does not take away the paint that we put on there. And you can use paint, you can use the color shift to highlight, you can use colored pencils, watercolor colored pencils. Looks amazing if you like a watercolored look, or you wanted it to look sketched but have a little bit of color with it. Yeah. Okay, I think we are good with this. I'm just going to let that sit there, and I'm going to stop playing with it. And I want you to be the judge. I'm going to turn on this other light that I have. Whoops. Hopefully that you can see with that. Or if I move you over, maybe there's a better chance. There. Now you can see your highlights in there. And it's not overpowering. It's just a slight color shift and a highlight. So yeah, there we have it. And if you have questions, I really hope you'll leave them in the comments, because I have another video that I'm going to be doing that's going to show this as part of that tutorial, but it's a full tumbler tutorial. But if you have questions, I would love for you to leave them in the comments. And, you know, if you felt there was any value in this, I'd love it if you could give me a like as well. Stay tuned, because there will be other tutorials that will give you this same type of technique, just used in different ways. So, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. Toodles!